Welcome back to Marketing Champions here in Daily Ad Brief. I'm Howard Walpuff, your host. We're talking about marketing from around the country with great marketers. Staying here today in Florida, we're going to Naples, and we're talking to Lisa Schell, the Relatable Writer. And Lisa, welcome to the conversation today.
Thank you so much, Howard.
So you do a lot with writing, and I think it goes without saying that having the right copy in everything that you do is extremely important. Words matter and words relate to people. So how did you get started in this part of the marketing industry?
Well, it's a long and windy story, but I've always had a love of writing and a love of words. When I first got into promotional marketing and then later in advertising and journalism, I realized that whether we're doing reporting or whether we're doing marketing, it's always a story, and storytelling is a passion of mine.
And it's a really great talent to be able to tell stories, not just your own, but of others, but also it's the writing and making sure that the words and the grammar and the everything sinks into into the right form. So how is it that you fell into doing this for other companies?
Well, to me, it's just it's a natural sort of a flow. Grammar, words, all of the things that go into copywriting are sort of the elements or the tools or the function, right? But the passion behind it for me is the actual story. It's bringing your audience into a story that matters to them. It's telling your marketing story in a way that really conveys to them that you understand who they are, what their interests are, and what their needs are. So it's two sides of the same coin. It's polishing words, making sure that your copy is clever enough to catch people's attention, but also relatable enough and relevant enough to keep their attention.
Keeping their attention is key. You have to make sure when you have that audience that they're staying with you so that they can fulfill exactly what you want them to do. But really, you're correct that it starts with getting that message out there that resonates with people. There's a problem they have they don't want, a result they want they don't have, and how can you speak to that within the writing that you're doing and speaking the words for your clients?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we may be marketers and writers, but we're human first. And so one of the things that I like to bring into my writing and that I like to share with my clients is that idea that, we're all relating to one another all the time in conversation. And that's become a lot harder actually in the last 18 months, because just as you and I are speaking to each other remotely, most business has been conducted remotely for a very long time now. People are losing some of that human connection that they would have had in the face-to-face conversations. You lose body language and those other indicators that sort of help you get to know a person or relate to them on a more personal level. So for me, it's even more relevant now that we talk about relatable writing, because we need to understand our customers at a deeper level, I think, than ever before.
So what are you spending your most time with? Like, what are you developing with your clients right now to get their words out in the best way possible?
That's a great question. I'm actually stepping back from the actual copywriting when I work with my clients to look at their actual story and to ask the right questions and be sure that they're asking the right questions of themselves before they even get started with the writing. The reason for that is that I'm finding that people need to have a platform. We know it as a brand message or brand positioning, a platform from which they can write their copy so that it becomes more effective, because all the elements are in place that we just talked about being relatable, understanding your audience's story, and so forth. So right now I'm really focusing with my clients on building that platform, building that relatable story, the story of their brand, in a way that their clients or potential clients will understand and sort of identify with, if you will, just to create that foundation for better copy all around.
Having the right story is key. Having people understand what your story is, even more important. How do you see this developing over the next couple of years? Where do you see the evolution of storytelling going?
Well, that's one of my favorite questions actually right now, and I'm fascinated by what's happening. There are a lot of trends that speak to the idea that empathy, the need for empathy in business is growing. And of course, we all sort of know that, right? Empathy is important in business, it's important in sales and in marketing, but more so, I think, than ever before. There are a lot of marketing studies out there right now, one in particular by Deloitte that points to the need for human connection. And that is a direct result of the fact that most of us are now working remotely. So I see relatable writing, I see brand messaging and positioning as incredibly important right now to everything that we're doing as marketers. Empathy has become sort of the buzzword of the season, and there's reason for that. Going back to what I said earlier about being human first, people are really seeking brands that understand them, pay attention to them, care about their needs. And if you're going to be competing against all the people who are resigning from their jobs and starting businesses right now, you need to stand out. There's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of marketing speak floating around out there. And as businesses are starting up, the competition increases. And so it's really important that your message hit its target and connects to the people that you're trying to reach.
This message itself is so important to make sure that you are really resonating with people. And yes, there's a lot more competition that may be coming out there. There's a lot of different things going on right now. There may be more people leaving the business world and trying to find their own way. So having that right message, having the right person to write it, having the right concepts behind it are incredibly valuable. And we really appreciate you sharing this with us so that we have a better understanding moving forward. So thank you for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me, Howard.
And thank you all for joining us as well. Having the right story, having an understandable story, having a story that resonates with people and that people want to respond to is the backbone of where business needs to be sharing their information with others. And again, having the right copywriting to do that is going to be very important. Finding more information about what Lisa is doing is available on Daily Ad Brief, and we really suggest you check that out. But go out, have a great rest of today, and we'll see you next time on Marketing Champions.